Hi friends, on behalf of my wife Dee and the ISF Board of Directors, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 12th Annual ISF Gala. It's a bit different this year. We really miss being together in person, but the important thing is that we found a way to get together because we all agree we truly are better together, right? Our ISF leadership team has been determined to find a way to make sure that we don't let our aged out foster care kids down. Like many of you, Dee and I are experiencing tonight's gala from our home in Granbury. We've gathered several of our friends and we can't wait to experience tonight's gala program. But first, I want to make sure I thank a few very special people who make ISF such an effective mission. Dee and I are surrounded by an amazing board of directors who provide governance for ISF. This is the 6th year that our ISF Gala has been presented by Masergy, and I want to thank their CEO, Chris McFarland, for his amazing support. We're deeply grateful. We also want to thank all of our sponsors and virtual table hosts who've invited family and friends into their homes to experience tonight's program. And last but not least, I want to express my deep appreciation for the hard work and creativity of our ISF staff led by Dr. Blair Ritchie and Gina Fawcett, ISF's Director of Operations, and also to Andrew Snow and his team at Track 15, who've helped us put tonight's event together. And now, I want to invite you to open your heart. Let your treasures follow your heart as we raise the funds needed to serve the more than 50 aged out foster care youth who have been accepted into the 2020-2021 ISF school year. I hope you are inspired by tonight's program. It is now my pleasure to turn you over to my friend and colleague, ISF's Executive Director, Dr. Blair Ritchie.
Well, thank you, Ben. And you're right. We are in store for an inspiring evening. And it's just great that in spite of a pandemic, we can still be together. We have ISF watch parties going on here in Dallas, down there in Granbury, up in McKinney, over in Monroe, Louisiana, all the way up to Grand Rapids, Michigan, all over the country. We want to say thank you to the hundreds of people who have opened up their homes to us tonight. And I am happily joined this evening with a very special co-host, one of our own ISF graduates who has recently relocated here to Dallas. Please welcome this evening my co-host, Miss Haley Brooks. Haley, welcome.
Hi.
Great to see you.
Good to be here.
You know, Haley's been to galas in the past, and 2020 has been quite the year for you. Big happening. So catch us up on what's been going on with you.
Well, I mean, 2020, I think for all of us has kind of been a roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
We've all had our own ups and downs, but to say the least, I'm 22 and this has been my best year yet. In May, I was proudly a part of the Belmont University graduating class, and while I did not get to walk that stage, I got my diploma. And
you gave a speech.
I did give a speech. I spoke at my graduation and I was very honored. It was online. Only one student got to speak and I was not a 4.0 student, so I'm happy they chose me. Yeah. But after I gave that speech, I packed my bags and I'm now here in Dallas permanently, which feels kind of insane.
Well, and I'm going to take a little credit here. Maybe ISF had a part of you being in Dallas.
I don't think I would have ever come to the big old state of Texas, let alone Dallas, if it was not for ISF. For me personally, and I feel like a lot of other foster care children can relate, but also other humans can relate. Sometimes you don't feel like you have your home. You don't feel like you're in a place where this is it, right? And that's how Tennessee always kind of felt for me. And I wanted to get out, but I didn't know where to go. And through ISF, through your love, through your open arms, you guys really made a home feel like Dallas is it for me. So I'm happy to be here.
You've had a great relationship with your mentors who are here in Dallas, Stacy and Andy.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about their influence in your life.
Well, Stacy and Andy are godsends for sure. I definitely think that ISF, that's the biggest thing you guys could have given to me. From the very first call, like Stacy listened to me in no way that any other adult has in my life. Everybody who came into my life throughout my childhood just kind of walked out the door just as quickly as they entered. But Stacy didn't do that, and she didn't expect too much of me, but she was also there when I needed her. And that was the first time I truly felt like I had somebody who I could call and they'd pick up the phone. So I'm very happy to have both Stacy and Andy in my life. We have dinner all the time. It's nice.
Thanks for being able to spend most of the evening with us. It's just a joy to have you co-hosting. Well, every year we put together a little video to share just why we hold events like this. And before we get into that, I just want to remind everyone that you have access all evening to opportunities to bid on some really cool items in our silent auction. In fact, there has been activity on that all week long, and it's right there on your cell phone at the top, or it says silent auction items. We also have an amazing grand prize that we're raffling off tonight. It's a wonderful weekend in Oklahoma City, and also your own Toby Keith signed guitar that you can play in Toby Keith's restaurant right there in OKC. How about that? And everyone has a raffle ticket already, but you can buy a whole bunch more raffle tickets right there in the Insta-Buy section on your cell phone. And at any time this evening, you can make your annual gift to our ISF Scholarship Fund and Leadership Development Programs. Just use the Donate section on your cell phone. And I just want to say, right off the outset tonight, thank you. Thank you for your support of our ISF students. But right now, it's your opportunity to learn even more about ISF, meet some wonderful ISF students, and why we're here together this evening. Enjoy the video. Together. We hear that word a lot these days. We're all in this together. We're going to get through this together. Life just works better together. But when you grow up in foster care, together is what life has taken from you. Isaiah is an ISF student at Louisiana State University. When the recent pandemic hit, he was told to go home. But when you've aged out of foster care, where do you go? Well, fortunately for Isaiah, his foster care parents said, you can come back here. And with the help of an ISF scholarship, Isaiah purchased a new computer, and he continued online to pursue that dream that only 3% of foster care students ever achieve, the dream of graduating from college. And Isaiah is just one of over 50 young people around the country who have leaned into ISF this past year.
My name is Valissa Tate. I attend the University of North Texas as a sophomore. My major is media arts. I've chosen media arts because I really enjoy filmmaking. I heard about ISF through the PUSH program here at UNT. The PUSH program is a program for the foster youth at UNT, and they thought that ISF would be perfect for me and told me to apply. I was scared, but I applied and I was like, hopefully I get accepted, and I was really happy. ISF, they provide you a scholarship and they just give it to you to use it towards your school. I decided I wanted to use it to buy a new laptop because I needed a laptop for editing. I am able to apply to jobs now because I have the equipment to work with, and I do not have to rely so much on financial aid to pay for my school because I am able to apply to jobs for me to help pay for my school.
My name is Faith Smith. I attend the University of North Texas. I am a sophomore and my major is social work with a minor in Spanish. I chose the social work major because I felt that giving back to my community meant a lot to me, and going into the system at an early age, in and out of foster care, you hated caseworkers, you hated everyone you had to talk to, and interviews and stuff. So it's been a challenge trying to get over it and not being so much angry towards the world, but just being happy and just knowing that giving back to the community is a good thing. And I've grown as a young lady and I'm still growing, so it makes me feel really, really blessed that I have a scholarship and I'm in college and pursuing a bachelor's in social work. So far, what I have gained from my mentor is that she's really passionate about what she does, and her job role is something I kind of want to do later on in life, is open up a nonprofit organization and help teachers and staff and students be a little bit more trauma informed because it goes underseen, so I want to do that.
When students apply to ISF, they are looking for ways to finance their college education. The reality is that most of the over 50 students ISF serves are just an ISF scholarship away from dropping out of school. But better together for an ISF student is about so much more than money. For the most precious gift ISF offers is the gift of a trusted mentor who cares, encourages, and guides.
I graduated Texas Women's University here in Denton, Texas with a Bachelor's of Theater in December 2019. And now I am back in school for an Associates of Arts of English pathway at NCTC. And I hope to graduate this December of 2020.
My name is Valeria, and I am an ISF mentor. It's a blessing what ISF does for kids. They give them someone to come along beside them when they need it most. I have 2 older boys. You know, I think about the times that they would call me and say, hey Mom, what do I do about this teacher? Or should I ask her out? Or all these different things. And so it was a chance to make sure Zolina had someone to call for those same kinds of questions.
I'm just glad that I have another person to go to. I'm very grateful. I was about to drop out because I only had one path to go to, not knowing that there's a ton of other paths.
We had some study sessions and one path just wasn't right, so we just detoured a little bit. And she was able to find the niche that works for her. And, you know, like she said, she's going back to school for more.
I mean, Valeria, she has changed my life in so many ways, and she has made such a positive impact on my life. And she has made such a huge impact that I want to share my wedding day so I can share my happiness with her.
It's an honor. It's a blessing to be a part of someone else's life and to help them grow and see the wonderful things that they can accomplish. So I'm very blessed to have that chance with her.
2020 will go down in history as one of the most challenging years we've ever faced. At ISF, we have had to cancel gatherings like our annual Leadership and Life Skills Retreat, our mission trip to serve orphans in Guatemala. But we've also had the opportunity to step up and serve our students who have been profoundly impacted by this pandemic. Like everyone else, we're looking forward to 2021. Tonight, we are not going to let our students down. Tonight, your financial gift will enable ISF to return in 2021 with a full and robust schedule of scholarships, mentoring, leadership retreats, and mission trips. Tonight, we get to prove that we truly are better together. You know, that video brings back so many memories. We've been together, 4 years now, and you've come to Dallas for the retreats.
Mm-hmm.
We spent a week together in Guatemala.
Yes.
And I was thinking about the impact on leadership that ISF seeks to have. How did that impact you in your journey?
You know, I will say, I think for me and every other student that we have here already is a leader, right? That's how we got to be at this point. But you guys help fine tune us. So every time I came in and I went to a retreat, you guys taught me things that, you know, most parents should have taught me, but I didn't know. Whether that be budgeting or change a tire. I did not enjoy the tire one, in all honesty. I'll call AAA every single time, but I know how to budget more than my friends do now. So you definitely taught me a lot of benefits in that. But on a bigger note, and more of a true leadership role, you guys allowed it to where I can find my own voice. Yeah. I'm not following what people want me to say as an advocate. I'm finding what I truly believe in and what I'm passionate about because of all of the inspiration you guys brought to each and every single one of those retreats those years. But on an even bigger note for me, and this is what I love the most about ISF, was that Guatemala trip. I was able to truly learn more about myself, my own trauma, my own scars, and what I was still dealing with, but I didn't know. It really helped me open up my own weaknesses in that. But it also taught me that, you know, while I had it rough as a child, I've had great people in my life, like ISF, like Stacy, like all these other people who've entered my life through adulthood, who are helping me continue to be that leader, continue to chase my dreams. You know, some of these people in Guatemala had nobody, had nothing and no one to call, but yet they were happy, right? So it really taught me that I have a lot more than many, and I need to be grateful, and I don't need to get onto myself, and I just need to be happy day to day and remember that I get to choose that.
You know, one of the things about serving, and you go there, that's all we do, right? We just serve. And it gives you a little bit of view of leadership that's maybe a little bit different than some of the other models of leadership, and how that really, you guys did such an amazing job of serving those kids.
Thank you. I definitely think that you guys taught us how to serve as leaders, though, because you're right. Most people who think of leadership, it's not about service, but you guys definitely have that service leader model, and that's definitely one I want to continue to have in my adulthood.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, tonight, folks, you will have an opportunity to actually make a very direct contribution to ISF's Leadership Fund. We've actually created in the InstaBuy section some buy now opportunities where you can sponsor one of our students like Haley. You can pay their way to next summer's Leadership and Life Skills Retreat here in Dallas, or perhaps pay their way to Guatemala next December in 2021. Well, in just a little bit, we're going to get to one of the fun parts of the evening, and that's our annual live auction. We're pleased to have our auctioneer, Dean McCurry, with us tonight, and Dean's going to kind of fill us in on some of the great opportunities that are just down the road this evening. And Dean, let's go over to you and tell us a little bit how things are going.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me give you a little bit of a surprise we've got. We now have on the Instant Buy 25 1.5 carat earrings that you can buy for $25. We have 25 quantity under Instant Buy. As you buy one, your name will go in the bucket. We're going to draw one winner, which will be a 3 carat diamond necklace. First of all, let me tell you about the trips we've got for the live auction. Destin, Florida, 30A, great place. It's where every family in Texas loves to go for the summer. Palm Springs, we love Palm Springs, relax, play golf, have fun in the sun. San Diego, my favorite spot in the United States is San Diego. Vail, Colorado, you can go summer or winter. The next trip we're going to have is Ireland. We've got people going crazy buying this trip already at many auctions. Ireland is 7 nights, 2 couples, in a castle, on a golf course near Cork, Ireland, which is at the water. So you've got shopping, you've got the fresh fish, you've got the golf, you got clay shooting, you got massage, you got spa, you got 5-star hotel with the best chefs in the world. The next one is Turks and Caicos. If you look at a bucket list, we all want to go to the Caribbean. The #1 spot in the Caribbean is Turks and Caicos. You've got a 3-bedroom for 6 people, 3 couples with a pool and your villa. Private, elegant, tranquil, great place to go is Turks and Caicos. The next one, we have a culinary delight trip into Charleston, South Carolina, with a chef, with a tour. People love the Old South and the culinary delight that you're going to have with the cooking. The last one is Kentucky bourbon. You're going to have Woodford Reserve as one of the 4 distilleries you go to. Great, great trip. Selling this one like hotcakes. Everybody wants to go to Kentucky. Everybody wants to get the bourbon tasting. We have 4 bourbon distilleries you'll go to. Thank you so much. I'm Dean McCurry. I'm looking forward to seeing you live virtually in the auction. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Dean. You know, 2 years ago at our ISF Gala, we met one of the most fascinating, entertaining illusionists by the name of Jason Bishop. What's special about Jason is that he himself grew up in foster care. Now, when he was with us, he talked just a little bit about that, but just not much about his foster care journey. Well, we've kept in touch with Jason over the past couple of years, and he's such a big fan of ISF. And Jason has created a very special video for us that will open your eyes and open your heart to the challenges that our ISF students are facing. He's also thrown in a few of his fun magic tricks, so for all of you tonight, just sit back and enjoy as we enter the magical world of Jason Bishop.
Hi, my name is Jason Bishop. I'm an illusionist, magician, and speaker. As an illusionist, I've had 2 successful shows on Broadway in New York City, performed on TV shows like CW's Masters of Illusion and The Today Show, as well as CBS Sunday Morning. I've been fortunate to premiere new cutting-edge illusions and been able to see 49 of the 50 states and over 40 countries on 6 continents. But I have to say, no one would have anticipated any of that with how my life began. Neglected, hungry, eating out of trash cans, later living in an orphanage with nuns, which of course is where I got my special powers. Kidding, maybe. Eventually, I lived in multiple foster homes before leaving at 18 years old, soon after which my last surviving biological parent died. The reason I entered foster care was because my home life was abusive and neglectful and filled with hunger and worry. We accepted living conditions that were unthinkable to any reasonable adult as I look back. Not knowing when we'd eat next, we were thrilled to walk down to the park and get free cellophane-covered meals that came in cardboard containers. Sleeping 5 on a bare mattress on the floor, a rat might crawl over you in the middle of the night while the adults shot heroin in the very next room. These were circumstances that we simply accepted as how life was for everyone. We had no idea that life was actually very different for other people. I don't know how people perceive foster kids. Truth be told, I don't think most people think about them much at all. I've had people say to me, "Oh, you're a foster kid, so you were adopted. That's great." And the dark humor, part of me always jokes, "No, I was a foster kid. No one loved me enough to adopt me." But the truth is, like most things, it's complicated. But no, I was not adopted. Foster care and adoption are not the same thing. Most foster kids aren't even up for adoption. The foster care system is really meant to eventually reunify kids with their birth families. But even a short stay in foster care significantly increases risks of suicide, drug addiction, pregnancy out of wedlock, homelessness, undereducation, and post-traumatic stress disorder. All of those risks for foster kids far exceed non-foster kids at the same age, and that's after 2 years or less. My siblings and I were in on average for 10 years. So what is a foster kid? To put it simply, foster kids like I was are just kids whose parents are unable to raise them in an acceptable manner, and none of their extended family will take them in. That's it. So they become wards of the state. They're not inherently bad. Almost never is it something the child did to land themselves in foster care. It's not juvie. Being a foster kid means moving place to place, which is disruptive and difficult. At first, siblings are placed together when possible. Then with each subsequent move, they're separated until none of them are together. Your caseworker will likely be the only person to help you transition from one foster home to the next. I don't think people often know that when a foster kid moves, all their belongings are stuffed into the first available convenient container, which are usually trash bags. So imagine, the few possessions you're lucky enough to have are now indistinguishable from garbage. Now, even though I just opened up a bit about my troubled youth, I know what you're thinking. He said he's a magician. Is he going to show us a magic trick or what? Sure, I'll show you a quick one. This one uses a wallet, and in the wallet we have 5 $1 bills. Now check this out. If I were to fold these together, you know what, better than that, if I hold them tightly in my hand like this, then what I'm about to do should not be possible. Watch closely. 5 $1 bills. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 $100 bills. Just like, wait, why am I still doing shows? And I would give this to you guys if you were here, but you're not. So instead of that, watch very closely. Pack of $100 bills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 $1 bills. My foster mom had 3 go-to maxims for us kids. Number 1, no one can make you do anything. You choose to do everything you do. Number 2, every action has a consequence, whether good or bad. And number 3, you can feel anything you want except for sorry for yourself. That last one may be the most important thing I've ever learned. During the 30+ years I've known her, I've never seen my mom feel sorry for herself. She's endured the heartbreak of saying goodbye to over 30 children in her care. She's overcome or managed devastating personal challenges and illnesses. And in spite of everything, she went back to school in her 50s and got another degree, her master's in religion. She's bitten off more than I ever would and been dealt bad hands as much as anyone. But she accepts that at times life will pull the rug out from underneath us. And we have to take a moment and examine our circumstances and then get back up and get on with our goals and our responsibilities. My inspiration to be resilient comes from her. When things appear to be a complete mess, when they seem beyond our reach or even hopeless, it's the best feeling of accomplishment to bring things back into order. That is the Ace of Hearts through the King of Hearts, the Ace of Clubs through the King of Clubs, the Ace of Diamonds through the King of Diamonds, and the Ace of Spades straight through the King of Spades in perfect order. Now that seemed impossible, and that's the reason it was amazing, because it's clearly not easy. Achieving the difficult awards us with a sense of pride and accomplishment that we get to own for the rest of our lives. One last thought, a quote that I was fortunate to hear in a memorable speech when I was 20 years old. It resonated and stuck with me ever since. It's by Nelson Mandela. He said, "There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you're capable of." And that can't be done without resilience, and Mandela was a man who knew resilience. That wraps up this video. This is Jason Bishop. Thanks for watching. Stay well and be healthy.
Man, I love Jason Bishop. In fact, we have something very special from Jason coming up a little bit later as well. But Haley, as you watch Jason's story, I got to believe that you saw that and related to it in ways that we can't even begin to. Talk a little bit about what you saw.
Yeah, the biggest thing that stood out to me with Jason's video was just the fact that how much I could relate to it, right? Every time another foster care youth tells me their story, I'm like, how is it that we have so many similarities? And it might not be the same type of abuse, same type of parent, same type of home we lived in, but it's still the same type of feelings, right? Jason talked about how he thought it was normal. I thought it was normal. If you ask anybody who went through abuse, they thought what they were going through was what everybody was going through. It didn't click until you were out of it that, wow, I lived in hell, you know, like I did not have to go through that, but you were set up to think that this is what we deserved and that this was our normal. And little did we know that at some point we'd get picked up and we'd get shown the truth. And just like Jason, he had that foster mom that helped him really learn his own resiliency. And that was a huge part of my story. People ask me all the time, how did you get out of foster care? And I'm like, resiliency, and I can't tell you where I got it from, but I have it. And I love that he could pinpoint who allowed him to feel resilient, who taught him that foster mom. Those foster moms are kind of hard to come by, if I'm being honest. Sometimes foster homes leave us more broken than healed. But we do have people like ISF that get to kind of be our own mom, that get to teach us those things that Jason's mom got to teach him, and how to be our own resiliency and our own leader and our own voice.
Man, it has been such a treat to have you here. I know you have to go, but before you go, could you help me with a couple items over here? I want to show off a few. We have a wonderful silent auction I mentioned earlier. In fact, part of that silent auction has some beautiful jewelry from our friend Vicky at All for Good, and you're wearing a little necklace there. By the way, you look great.
Thank you.
So that's just one of the items that you can bid on tonight, and several other wonderful pieces of jewelry. We also have a couple fun little things. We have a dear friend, Edna, over in Monroe, Louisiana, and she actually hand-stitched this really cool state of Texas flag quilt, hand-stitched, really beautiful. And then she also donated this really cool longhorn leather wall hanging. Can we hold this? This is the best, isn't it? Man, all you Texas fans. Edna may be from Louisiana, but she has Texas on her heart, doesn't she? That's awesome. So lots of cool stuff you can bid on. I mentioned earlier about the Toby Keith guitar, and I want to give a real big thanks to Irving over at Sports and Entertainment Media for helping us secure this and donating this to us. This is really is signed by Toby Keith, got the official Toby Keith pick. So our grand prize raffle with the Toby Keith guitar and a weekend in Oklahoma City. You can pick up some additional raffle tickets there on the Instabuy section, and we just thank you for another creative way to support ISF. Well, we're going to head over to the live auction in just a minute, but I mentioned earlier that we have another treat for you from Jason Bishop. He wanted to do a personal shout out tonight on the night of the gala, and so you're in for a treat. So here's, once again, Jason Bishop.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining the ISF 2020 Gala. I'm illusionist Jason Bishop, and I had the pleasure of performing some magic for the gala in 2018. I hope you're all well and healthy. I'm a big fan of the work that the ISF does. As a former foster child, I know very well how difficult it can be for kids after they leave foster care at 18. 1 in 5 foster kids are actually homeless for some time after they leave the system, and only 3% ever graduate college. The ISF helps mentor and fund students who otherwise wouldn't have the option to graduate from college. It's an amazing organization. If you have a minute, I'll show you a piece of magic right here. So we'll give this a few cuts real quick. 1, 2, here we go. Good. One more right here. There. We're going to grab 2 cards at random. Let's go with the top card. That's the 2 of hearts we have. We'll lay that right here. And then the bottom card, that is the Jack of hearts. We'll lay that right on top, just like that. Jack of hearts, 2 of hearts. Watch very, very closely. That's the message. Please donate to the ISF. It's a great cause, guys. Thanks for attending again the gala. I'll do one more trick for you real quick, by the way, before we get out of here. Because this is about school and it's about kids getting educated, I've got 2 old school slates here. I can show you both sides, whatever. Anyway, and I'm just gonna write something on here with a piece of chalk right about here. And this one right about there. It makes sense, that's good. And then those 2 just go together, and then we just throw this inside like that. You gotta catch it. And here's the creepy part. If you listen closely, you can hear a little bit of scratching as it draws. Check this out. Thank you for donating, and thank you for attending the 2020 ISF Gala online. Stay well and stay healthy. Take care.
Good evening, everyone. This is Gloria Campos, an old friend of ISF. These are unusual times that we're living in right now. I am in my home in Blanco County. Yes, I left Dallas County after my retirement in 2014. It's been 6 years now. But I am still a big fan of ISF and the wonderful work they do. As you know, probably, about 20,000 young people who are in foster care will age out, in other words, become 18 and be legally free this year alone. Can you imagine that? It's been a tough year for a lot of people, but imagine having no family or support system and going out into this world right now. And that's where ISF comes in. You probably know of the wonderful work they are doing to give scholarships to foster children, to mentor them, and to give them leadership training. All these young people need is a chance. And by participating tonight in this virtual gala, you are helping make dreams come true. ISF is doing wonderful work and has been for a long time. And I really appreciate being asked to be a part of this event this evening. So I thank you for joining us for this virtual gala. I thank you for your support of ISF and for the wonderful work that ISF is doing and all their volunteers and staff. Thank you for being here this evening. And congratulations to ISF for what hopefully will be another successful event, virtual or not.